Brandon Davis, Swan Energy.
Thank you for joining the program here today, or the program, depending on what part of the country you're in. We've got some fantastic news, folks, some exciting news here because the world has not stopped in the world of oil and gas. We've got one of the companies out there that is out getting some deals done, putting some momentum forward, if you will. We've got Brandon Davis, Swan Energy, joining us to talk about some, I don't know, are the acquisitions done? Are they still in talks? But I just wanted to ask you about just some recent activity that you have going on, if you wouldn't mind.
We are in the process of due diligence on our first acquisition, and we are in negotiations on two more right now.
So I guess my next question is just the start of things, or is this just, a couple properties or a couple acquisitions that you had eyes on? Because it's exciting news, I think, that just anybody's out there moving ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we started looking for acquisition opportunities in early March, and then we ramped that up towards the end of March and the beginning of April as things kind of started going crazy or stopping, depending on who you are and how you look at it. But we've looked at about 100 or so potential acquisitions, and this is the beginning of what we plan to pursue for the next 6 months. We're planning on making acquisitions. So it's the beginning, not just a one-off deal, and several really good opportunities have presented themselves, and they look amazing. So we're moving forward with them.
The word acquisitions can be used too, but acquisitions, broad term. What type of acquisitions, may I ask, are we talking about? Are you looking for specific ones, or are they just basically things involved in, kind of the energy field?
So we're buying fields, mostly gas-heavy fields, and that was our plan when we set out and before oil went to where it is today, which we don't need to talk about, but I have never seen anything like it, but just insane. But we're looking for gas-heavy producing assets, and that is our target for acquisitions, and we're doing it through my Texas operating company called Oak Energy, and it is we're looking and we're going to be pretty aggressive in our acquisition of these assets. So we're hoping to pick up somewhere around 500 wells, depending on the situation. It could be more than that, and about 40,000 acres is our goal. So that's what we're trying to get accomplished between now and the end of the third quarter, and so far it's actually going quite well. We've been aggressive and enjoying it.
I just want to repeat this one more time because I think a lot of people are frantically writing down in their notes right now. You said this is part of your one of your Texas companies called Oak Energy, like the oak tree?
Correct.
Okay, and you're looking to pick up 500 wells and 40,000 acres, was that right?
That's our goal, yes.
That's a great goal, man. I'm just flabbergasted that we're even having this conversation in today's, in the light of today's day and age. That is really impressive, and my hat off to you. And I don't want to ask you about your secret of the sauce, but I do. But let's transition to something else. How's Swan Energy doing? I know you guys were doing some stuff in the water hauling business. Are you guys staying busy?
So, yeah, that's actually inject disposal, and then we're not that busy right now. The trucks are sitting idle for the most part as a lot of wells are being shut in and not a lot of drilling is taking place. So it's very slow there, but we were ready for it, and so far it's not really been horrible for us. It's just we have about a little over a dozen trucks and trailers sitting there ready to go. We just haven't had a lot of work come at us. So it's not going very well, but it's not bad either. It's very manageable because most of the drivers are hourly, so it's working out okay. It's just you can't control what everybody else is doing. And I was on a call last week and heard rumors of as much as 40% of the production in certain areas being shut in the next few months. So we'll see what happens with that. But for my acquisitions, that's actually a really good thing. So not so good for the trucking company though. But hey, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, well, that's why you diversify, right? You got to keep things going when the other sides aren't doing as well. I did want to ask you about that. I'm not sure your comfort level on something like this, but with that amount of production going down, and Texas Railroad Commission's talking about stepping in and possibly controlling production. We talked about the nationalizing oil, I think, last time, when that was floating around. You're looking, you're in opportunity mode right now. I would imagine that you're paying attention to that type of discourse pretty closely.
We have to. And that's primarily why what we're focusing on is natural gas, because it's not, the international markets don't impact it as much. And as they shut in oil production, there will be less gas production from the wells that we're producing it with oil, and the price should be decent. So we'll see. But that's really how simple our plan is. And there's obviously more to it, but generally speaking, we're trying to stay away from heavy oil production and lean towards the gas. And we were already in that mode before this happened, and it just amplified our vigor, really, because as soon as the price started going down, it made what we were looking at potentially doing look a lot better, and so we got pretty aggressive.
I'm not sure if you've seen the movie Planet of the Humans or not, but I did have a chance to watch it over the last weekend, and I thought it was a pretty good movie for people in the oil and gas industry to see, because it did a couple things. One, it basically exposed the kind of the business behind the green energy movement, which I know the oil and gas people have been trying to do for a long time, but this film did a decent job of it. And the other part it showed was what we've been trying to do here on the Crude Life for a while, is talk about natural gas as that bridge to whatever we're doing next. And it's so needed on so many different parts of it. And I remember you had something to do with NASCAR, and I remember interviewing the president of Jiffy Lube a number of years ago in Jackson Hole, where they were talking about synthetic motor oil made out of natural gas. And it just blew my mind, all the different innovations happening with natural gas and just all the different areas it was used. And then to hear you guys were ramping towards that too. And after seeing Planet of the Humans, I don't know if you've seen that movie or not, but can you talk a little bit about just where you see natural gas going and why you're so, I don't know if all in is the right word, or doubling down, or, laser focused, whatever the phrase is you want to use, but it's perfectly clear that you guys are definitely focused on natural gas.
I've not seen the movie, but I pay attention to a lot of things, primarily people with a lot more money than I have. Jerry Jones is one of them, and he's been on heavy, very, very bullish on gas for a while, and made some acquisitions because of it. And so, that's what I watch. And then, a little bit of common sense. With the coal industry dropping down, there's going to be more need for gas as well. So there's a lot of factors that led me to get in more heavily in the gas, and that's just paying attention to the world. It's funny because as we were sitting there last Monday, watching the oil price go negative $37 or whatever happened. It was insane to see that. Never in my life that I still don't understand how that happened. But nevertheless, gas prices crept up through that period. And so it was very much a sign of we're thinking right, looking at things right, just watching all that take place. It was very interesting, and it gave me more confidence following watching all that crazy go on. So
does it matter? Does it matter where your gas fields are? Are you looking at certain areas?
We're only looking in Texas.
Okay.
A little bit. We're open to Oklahoma, but right now our primary focus is Texas. We've turned down some opportunities in New Mexico, and looked at some great opportunities in Oklahoma, but it was for what it was. It wasn't worth it for us to move that far. So we're primarily looking Texas assets.
Okay. What do you see next now? It's hard to predict what's going to happen next. We don't even know when the baseball season is going to start, if football season is going to be around here. But at the same time, we know there is going to be some, oil and gas activity. But, even off Oasis shutting down the Bakken wells, I was reading some of the ones down in the Permian. We're going to be, Louisiana's having a tough time. Are you guys basically just going to let the idle happen on the oil side and just really kind of focus on oil and gas? But I mean, just kind of what are your plans over the next 30 days just to kind of give some people out there an idea of what a business is doing who is actively out there continuing on?
I learned a long time ago when life went from being hard to being easy, to only worry about things I can control. And I cannot control the oil price. But I can control what we do with the oil we produce, or what our wells are doing, at least in our operated assets, where we're planning on producing to our tanks until they're full, and if prices aren't back to a reasonable level by then, we'll start shutting our wells in. That's the oil plan, because that's all we can control. And on the other side, we're just going to let it come to us, and we're not going to force the issue. We're going to continue to focus on the same thing we were focused on before all this happened, and review deals, look at opportunities, and make acquisitions that make sense. And that's our plan. Excited about it too.